Yesterday on March 4th, I got a text from my friend Brandon that said, "So gutted to hear about Judy," with a broken heart emoji. And I honestly hadn't heard the news that Judy Heumann had passed away. And so I went to go look online and there weren't any news articles out at the time. And then I went to go look at comments on her last post, which her last post was about launching a new piece of merch. And I saw in the comments that a lot of people were expressing their condolences. And I'm just shocked, honestly. She passed away at 75. And I'm going to make this a part of my anti-ableism series, just remembering her life and legacy. And it's interesting. Yeah, it kind of took me down memory lane in terms of some of my own interactions with her. So I think my first interaction, I'm not sure the series of events, but in one of the articles that I came across, in really the last 3 years of her life, did she start to really become recognized as the incredible disability rights activist that she was, starting with her memoir that came out in February 2020, and then Crip Camp, which was produced by the Obamas, Oscar nominated, which featured a lot of her work at Camp Jened, which then led to a group of disability activists coming together, the 504 sit-ins, and really just highlighting her life and work and so much of the advocacy that she did really throughout her entire lifetime. So I first met Judy because we had both been invited to speak on a panel. I think it was through an organization called Getting Hired, and it was me, Alex Locust, and Judy Heumann. And that was pretty cool. And one of the things that I really thought about was not only how knowledgeable she was, but how generous she was, just with staying connected with the next generation of disability activists, checking in on us. My next couple of interactions, when her memoir came out, I decided that we could use Diversibility as a platform to help share the news that her memoir was out. So we did a giveaway and she offered to sign and personalize a couple of copies for the winners. So I coordinated that with her. And then in December of 2020, I reached out through my capacity as part of the Global Shapers, which was an initiative of the World Economic Forum to really mobilize young people for impact, to see if she would be the keynote speaker or do a fireside chat as part of the first ever Shaping Disability event. And she agreed to do that. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like just she was so open. And then a couple of months ago, maybe in November of last year, I was grabbing lunch here in LA with Diego and Andy, and they ended up FaceTiming her. And I shared a little bit of my work at Diversibility, and she was like, "Can you send me your next event and your latest newsletter? Because I get a lot of emails and I just want to be kept up to date." And so I just texted her that information. But yeah, I wanted to, I have this saved in I'm like using my legs as a tripod. I just wanted to highlight some of the incredible things that she did. You know, she was known as the mother of the disability rights movement. She literally dedicated her whole life to civil rights, like up until the very end. You know, she was active. She has been active as a disability activist, a disability rights activist for longer than I've been alive. She was a young organizer at Camp Jened, to becoming the first wheelchair user to work as a teacher in New York City, to being a leader during the 504 sit-in in 1977, the longest non-violent occupation of a federal building in U.S. history, that set the stage for the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act in 1990. I'm going to click into some of these links here because I also want to highlight some of the other things that she did. She was a founding member of the Berkeley Center for Independent Living, which was the first grassroots center in the United States and helped to launch the independent living movement both nationally and globally. In 1983, Judy co-founded the World Institute on Disability with Ed Roberts and Joan Leon as one of the first global disability rights organizations founded and continually led by people with disabilities that works to fully integrate people with disabilities into the communities around them via research, policy, and consulting efforts. From 1993 to 2001, she served in the Clinton administration as the Assistant Secretary for the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services in the Department of Education. She served as the World Bank's first advisor on disability and development from 2002 to 2006. President Obama appointed her as the first special advisor for international disability rights at the U.S. Department of State. She served in that from 2010 to 2017. Mayor Fenty of D.C. appointed her as the first director for the Department on Disability Services, where she was responsible for the Developmental Disability Administration and the Rehabilitation Services Administration. Literally so much. She's played a role in the development and implementation of major legislation, including the IDEA, Section 504, and the Americans with Disabilities Act, and the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So if you want to learn more about Judy Heumann, a couple ways you can do that, or so many different ways to do that. And I just want to say I'm grateful that so much of her work was recognized finally, even if it was only for the last 3 years of her life, but I'm glad she got to be celebrated. And yeah, I'm shocked and I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to be witness to someone so legendary. But yeah, a couple things you can do. You can watch the Oscar-nominated documentary called Crip Camp. It's on Netflix, but you can also watch the full-length feature for free on YouTube. She also has a TED Talk in 2016. She has a podcast. You can read her memoir. And there are tons of tributes just going around now. And a lot of them share just really beautiful moments of intimacy and friendship and community. So I just wanted to record this daily update. I've been pretty shocked in just reading all the tributes and reading all of the stories and watching all of the videos. And I just want to say thank you, Judy. And I hope that everyone that you impacted and whose lives you touched will carry the torch forward and continue this work onward. Thank you, Judy.